Hello and welcome back.
Hello.
We are going to be reading 11 of the scariest ghost stories from Reddit.
Nice.
I can't rely on Reddit to provide me with the goods.
No, so we just Googled Reddit stories.
This one's called It Wasn't a Little Girl. I was camping with my husband and his family at a small remote lake in New Mexico. There were about 10 people in our group and another group of 6 people in the next campsite. It was nighttime and both groups were doing typical activities, making s'mores, having a few drinks, and telling stories, when we all heard what sounded like a little girl yelling out for help. Neither group had children with them, but we were all positive we were hearing a little girl and decided to search the area we heard the noises from together. There was a field behind our campsites, and we all saw a very tall, pure white figure standing maybe 100 feet away from us in the field, making the noises. We all agreed this thing looked maybe 6 feet tall, skinny and white as can be. We made our way close to investigate, but whatever it was that we saw started backing off as we got closer, and it disappeared into the trees. All night we continued to hear a little girl calling for help as we tried to sleep.
It's me, obviously. That was just a Lila spotting.
Lila out there.
That's me at 3 a.m. looking for beans.
Okay. I don't know, in my head I instantly filled the blanks of the scary story in with like, oh, it was trying to lure children and there weren't any children in their group. Oh, no good story starts with I'm a psychiatric nurse.
No. Terrible.
The Walking Dead. I'm a psychiatric nurse, and early in my career, I worked at a residential mental health facility. One of our residents was an elective mute, which means that he couldn't talk. But there were no medical reasons as to why. He had spoken earlier in his life, and in fact seemed quite normal back then, with the exception of being close to 7 feet tall. He'd been raised in the Deep South and joined the military when he was 19, but one night he vanished. He was declared AWOL, and eventually he was declared missing and dead. 10 years later, a 7-foot-tall man walked into a VA hospital emergency room in my part of the Midwest and said to the receptionist, "My name is Marion Duchesne." Interesting name.
Yeah.
To not the real name.
Interesting
Pop
choice.
Off, I guess. And I've been dead for 10 years. Those were the last words he ever spoke. He was covered with dust, and he was wearing the same clothes he'd been reported to be wearing the night he vanished. His social security number had not been used, and he had no identification on his person. However, they were able to identify him, I guess, via fingerprints. The family was notified, and they said they had already grieved their lost man and that whomever was claiming to be him simply could not be. They demanded not to be contacted again. Marion paced all day, every day, moving his mouth that looked like talking and muttering.
What is this? I'm on fire.
You went too far down and now you're in lava.
How do I get to lava?
It's an ocean, Lila. There's lava.
Was that always
water.
there?
Probably.
This is like right next to my thing.
Probably.
Anyway, continue.
I don't remember where I was at.
Sorry.
Marion paced all day, every day, moving his mouth that looked like talking or muttering, but no sound came out. He had an unnerving habit of throwing his head back with his mouth wide open as if he were laughing heartily, but not even a breath could be heard.
Ooh.
If I talked to him, he appeared to listen, periodically throwing his head back in that laughter-mimicking way of his. Various medications were tried, but they did not affect him either positively or negatively. Occupational therapy did nothing because Marion would just grin, and unless told to stay put, he'd get up and start pacing again. On my last day at that job, the last thing I saw was Marion pacing in the parking lot, throwing his head back to laugh. Later, I wondered if all along I'd been dealing with a ghost. All these years later, I still don't know. In the parking lot? That's the part that gets me. Ain't no business he had in the parking lot.
No.
The unrest stop. I was driving across country with my mom and sister when I was 16 and my sister was 20. It was late, but we were well rested, still, and alert. We were driving along an interstate and needed gas and a bathroom break, so we stopped at the only rest stop in 200 miles. There was a van full of teenagers on a road trip at the gas station, as well as a small gray car packed at the pump in front of us, with 2 young men standing still outside of it. When we got there, everything felt wrong. We'd been on the road for days and seen many rest stops at night and had never been afraid until then. My mom and sister went inside and I stayed in the car. I heard the teenagers say they were creeped out and couldn't get the pump to work. And they left in a hurry. I was watching the car in front of us, and the 2 men had not moved at all. Not an inch. They weren't talking. They weren't on their phones. They were just standing there, still as stone. My sister and mom came running back out to the car, and when they got in, the 2 men slowly turned to look at us while not moving or pivoting the rest of their bodies. And I swear to fucking shit, we all saw the same thing. They had dark eyes, as pitch and empty, truly empty, not black, not reflecting any light at all, just void.
Yummy.
We sped out of there and didn't stop until we were in the next city.
What? Why was it green?
It's like a stinging thing, like a poison thing.
God damn it! Please tell me I didn't lose any of my ingredients for the... Okay, I'm good. There's some more.
The worst thing about the entire experience, we couldn't find the place on any map. We knew exactly which spot on the interstate to look, and we couldn't find it on Google Maps or any paper map we had. We even asked locals about the creepy gas station out on that stretch of road and got only confused looks. We've traveled on that interstate since, and there is no rest stop.
Huh. Ooh.
I swear to fucking shit was easily my favorite part of that.
I also do be swearing to fucking shit.
Me too.
I feel deranged. And yet I'm sober.
She is doing her best. I don't believe that she is.
I think I am. I think you're just so judgy today. What the fuck?
I made a sea moth. Good job.
And now I'm trying to figure out where the fire extinguisher is.
Danielle, you just came in. She got her other sea moth eaten the fuck
shredded.
Up. Next Reddit story, boys.
Next.
It came for us in the graveyard. Kinky.
Me too. I'm coming for you in the graveyard. I'm coming in the graveyard. Ooh,
Graven in the yard.
She's the best mod. Danielle is the best Twitch moderator the world has ever seen.
Yeah, hire Danielle for all your moderating needs.
Yeah, look at how many
comments she filters out for us. They're not any other than hers because she's so good at it.
She's so good. We don't have any hate comments at all. Dude.
Truly a blessing.
What am I looking for? Oh, yeah.
Danielle, did you get the mod thing figured out good enough? Forgot to ask what it looks like on your side now. It came for us in the graveyard. We were driving my friend's really old beat-up Subaru through a massive graveyard. We stopped and walked down a hill and came across a little pond. There was someone sitting on a rock on the other side of the pond. The figure was all black and we couldn't make out any features other than the fact it looked like a man who was wearing some old-style top hat. We stupidly waved and shouted, "Hi!" He didn't show any acknowledgement and continued sitting still on the rock. All of a sudden, he jumped to his feet, started running to us on the water, and then vanished into thin water about halfway on the pond. My friends and I screamed and ran back to the car. The car wouldn't start. Ooh. And we heard something banging on the back of the car. It wasn't a constant bang, but every few seconds or so we'd hear it. Nobody was outside from what we could see in the dark, but something was making a noise on the car. I opened my phone and started dialing my mom to come give us a boost, but I had no service. None of us had any cell service. The next 30 minutes were spent trying to get her car started. No banging was heard afterwards, but we felt this heavy pressure around us. Finally, the car started and she hit the pedal to the metal. We sped out of the graveyard so fast, immediately crossing the gates, all of our phones regained cell service. One thing I know for certain is that someone or something was out there, and it was not an animal or a human.
Fun. Cute and lighthearted, I'd say.
That's what people used to describe us all the time. Cute and lighthearted.
We'd never heard a fly.
It was good to see an old friend. When I was 37, I went to my high school reunion. I flew into the nearest airport and rented a car. The distance is about 35 miles through a very rural and almost abandoned part of the county. Country. About 3 miles outside of town, I see someone on the side of the road flagging me down. It turned out that it was one of the guys I attended school with. This guy's me dead.
Oh, yeah.
I know it. Right now I know it. Jim, not his name, gets in the car and we start talking. I had not seen him in 20 years, but he still looked the same, maybe a little older. Ooh, Jesus, bitch.
How rude. Anyway, continue.
Sorry, hold on. We get to town and I ask him if he wants to come to the VFW and have a drink. He says, no, just take me home. Jim's parents had lived only a few... Jim's parents had lived only a few blocks from my grandmother's house, and I turned in that direction, but he said to take him to the outskirts of town. There was a mobile home park out there, and I figured that's where he lived. When we reached the end of the turnoff, he said, just drop me here. It was good to see you again. And he walked off into the night. I got to the VFW, met some of my old classmates. We started to talk. As we were talking about who was coming to the reunion, I mentioned that I had just picked Jim up 3 miles east of town and had dropped him off. Everyone gets quiet.
He's dead.
Even the guy singing karaoke stops and lays down the mic.
What?
My cousin goes white as a new t-shirt. Barb, Jim died on that curve 8 years ago. Rolled his car. We were all at his funeral, I was told. I started to feel really dizzy, and I went out to the car to take some deep breaths. There on the seat is the local newspaper printed 8 years previous, containing Jim's obituary, and I still have the paper.
Wait, you just happen to have a newspaper or what?
She went out to her car to take some deep breaths, and when she got to her car, the newspaper that had printed about his obituary was sitting on her passenger seat.
Weird.
Spooky.
Ooh. That's always the plot twist for those type of things. Oh, he's been dead for 7 years. Ooh.
I hooked up with this chick at the bar and she sucked me off. Dude, she's been dead for 3 years. She died in that bar bathroom.
She died of syphilis.
She died in that bar bathroom of asphyxia. Okay, let's find something else. For the YouTube channel, thank you guys so much for watching this little episode.
Yeah.
We'll see you in the next one.
Woo.
Don't forget to go down to the bio, our little description-y deal, and go follow us on Twitch where we post all our content first now. You can see it there first.